This is Colette Claire with the Gauntlet, and we are here with Tapo Negative, which is so freaking awesome. You have no idea how excited I am. So, well, cool. How's the tour been going, general?
Everything's been pretty cool so far, It's, we got like a little bit over 2 weeks in now. And got about another 4.5 to go. And, it's like riding a bicycle.
We got through the hardest part of the tour. All our friends from like New Orleans to Dallas, and then we hit Arizona, and then we hit LA, and it's just been a rough road. So everybody shows up, and everybody, come on, shots, and all this stuff.
Tonight will be the last night of like a lot of punishment.
Yeah.
Really? I was going to ask you about that because you guys seem to be, I was actually at the LA show and you guys just seem to be running around having such a good time. They were like, can you do it in Anaheim? Because they're just having so much fun. I don't want to rain on their fucking parade.
It's really hard to hold us down when we're in Los Angeles. And, it's just something over the years, through the, playing in the band and stuff. Over the years, you make a lot of friends, and a lot of our friends now are based out of Los Angeles. So it's like the show is really so secondary when we're there.
It's like New York. It's become like New York. It's like a second home. We have just as many guests in LA as we do at home. So it's chaos.
Is the crowd good though? I mean, because I heard you guys.
They're never good in LA. Come on.
The crowd is never good in Los Angeles. It seems like everybody's so reserved, and everybody's too cool to just have fun.
Someone once said, all the musicians in the crowd because they have their arms folded.
Yeah.
And they're not even smiling.
They're all sitting there going, yeah, I could do that better. Yeah, he fucked that part up. And
everybody's a somebody and simultaneously a nobody in LA.
Yeah, no fucking shit. So on the DVD that's with the reissue of Dead Again, you guys talk about this. I don't know if you want to kill it because you want people to buy the DVD, but this squid story with the squid.
The squid.
That was an
that's
insane
Pantera
story.
talking about.
Oh yeah. When we were touring with Pantera, somebody threw a squid on stage.
Well, then they chopped the squid up and they stuffed it down my boots while I was playing on stage, and they flung it all in the gear, and the whole back line smelled like fish for the rest of the 6 weeks we had on the road with them.
This tour is just starting now, but I'm sure that the insanity like that will start ensuing. As far we've never really hung out with Hatebreed all that much until we, started this tour together. And each night it starts getting a little bit more and more, wilder, and pretty soon there'll definitely be poultry and fish and various things getting thrown around, and really, yes, it's immature, but it's a lot of fun.
So do you think, it's kind of an interesting lineup, you guys in Hatebreed. I was going to ask you that if you'd ever hung out with them before, because I know you guys are kind of from
We know Jamie
the
from
same
way
area.
back. We know Jamie from years ago. The other guys I didn't know, but I've bonded with them already. They show up to the dressing room, speech hugging whiskey, and they're great guys. They're all good guys.
But is it the fans? I saw the fan. I was thinking, it's kind of an interesting lineup. They're two totally different bands, but I actually saw the fans digging on both bands, even though they probably kind of never heard them before.
I think.
Is that? Have you seen that?
Well, for starters, Jägermeister put the lineup together, and they were like, this is what we're doing. Would you like to be a part of it? And so it wasn't like we really had much of a say of don't you think Hatebreed's kind of odd to for us to be touring with, or anything? We really didn't have we didn't have a say in it. I always look at stuff like that as I appreciate it. I want to play with a band that's different. It's adds a little bit more dimension to the package as a whole. Because it really is boring as shit if you're sitting there looking at 4 bands that all look and sound exactly the same, unless of course they're all Kiss tribute acts, and then that would be awesome.
What about Mini Kiss? Have you seen?
I'm trying to locate them to hire them. I want them to tour with us and do our after show parties.
That's a great lead into one of my other questions, which is you guys always have some weird, quirky shit going on when you guys play someone was telling me about the Small Wonder theme was really pissing people off during one show. Is that intentional? Did you sit there and you're like, okay, this show we're gonna play this weird ass song, or how does that?
We leave that up to our crew that has that certain element of the oddness to them. And
Yeah, the main requirement is that you're a lunatic to work for this band. You know, otherwise, whether you're skilled or you know what you're doing is secondary. We hire people for the entertainment value.
Yeah, that's it. You have to have a certain, you know, value, like a comedic value, certain, like, you know, you have to be entertaining in some other way as opposed to just being, you know, performing your duties. You know, it's no fun.
So does that go along with like the toilet paper thing? Because
the toilet paper thing was our idea. That was a Peter idea. And really, it's like, you know, you take that and you just build on it and you just try to become more obnoxious and, you know, you try to outdo it somehow. And, you know, the guys in our crew, you know, they get that and they, you know, they'll play, you know, what was that song that they played over and over again? Oh, the Chicken Dance.
Oh, God. I don't know.
Every night they'd play the Chicken Dance for a half an hour. And
then they'd stop the chicken dance and they'd make like the intros come and everyone would go, yeah! And they'd cut it off and play the chicken dance again. And they were torturing people so much, people were walking out. They were leaving. I saw people exiting the building.
You'd hear people like screaming from the stage, "Fucking kill me!" They were fucking dying.
That's what I heard. It was the Small Wonder or the Small World one that I heard was like people were like "fuck," and they were just screaming.
Usually like, you know, like it's a small, but there's usually like a tie-in to it somewhere. Like it's a small world. You know, we're playing close to Disney, and that's
that's probably
There's a tie-in.
Yeah.
Gotta put it all.
There's always a punchline. There's always a punchline to it.
So the reissue's out now, right? Or coming out, or
Yeah, it's been out. It's been out since February.
oh sweet. I just got my copy. I guess I'm on the late for it. But what was like? Was it your idea to reissue, or was that like a record company thing, or were you like, we want to throw a DVD in there?
It was a record thing, you know. Like, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know, in this climate and stuff, you know, it's getting harder and harder to sell records, whether they're good or not. You know, it's very hard to sell a record now, and so you know, record companies are trying to come up with different ways to, like, you know, get people to go into a record store and buy it. And one of the things that they do now that's common, and you always hear people complaining about it, but, you know, it's, you know, doing reissues and, like, you know, trying to offer something different as opposed to, you know, like just re-releasing the same record in, you know, whatever, a digipack or something like that. And now one of the things that's becoming more common is, like, you know, a DVD to go along with it. And while we were on tour, when Dead Again first came out, we were on the road and we were able to, you know, film a couple of shows. And one of them was Wacken Festival in Germany last summer. And the footage came out, you know, the footage looked pretty cool and stuff. And so we were able to, you know, we picked out a couple of songs, put that on a DVD, and, you know, it's just trying to give a little bit more value to it instead of, you know, just reissuing it with, you know, whatever various artwork or whatever. And, you know, I really liked the vinyl package that they did, where you had the two.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
You had the two red discs for the CD. You know, for Dead Again, and then there was a black disc of all the live footage, and it came with a DVD
and a T-shirt, right?
And a T-shirt.
Wow, that's a really good deal.
So that's pretty cool. You know, it's a pretty cool thing to have. You know,
I think that is kind of a cool idea because then you get more. I like the T-shirt and throwing in stuff because you can't download a friggin' T-shirt.
Right.
So it's like,
you know, there's like, you know, there's a lot more tangible items as opposed to, like, you know, just the music. And it was done in a limited number. It wasn't like, you know, they, like, you know, issued, like, you know, thousands of them. You know, it was done in a very low number. You know, and it was just like something cool, like, you know, something I think that, like, you know, a diehard fan would really be into.
Definitely. The new album, I think it's friggin' awesome and should be bought regardless of what the hell comes with it, but that's just my opinion. And I wanted to ask you about the direction of it. I think you've been asked this before. It's a little more of kind of like the older style typo. Was that, like, intentional where you're like, okay, we're going to fuck, you know, writing hits or trying to write hits or anything like that? Like, we're just going to go back to basics. Was that intentional or you just write whatever?
It was intentional. We wanted to go back to, like, more like the Bloody Kisses, Slow Deep and Hardened days. It was, like, some extreme tempo changes, hardcore mixed with dirge and stuff. And we did try to write hits at one time, and it didn't work.
I read that. Well, it was well for you guys, you know. I mean, I think all your songs are good regardless, but I mean, it's a certain style. I was gonna kind of ask you about that. I mean, you get the word goth all the time, right? And what the hell does that even mean? How do you guys feel about that word? Because it's so thrown around, it doesn't really mean anything, you know?
You know, after so many years, I'm just so used to it because I know that that's what people are going to refer us, you know, that's how we're going to get categorized. I mean, you know, yeah, our singer has black hair and fangs, so I think, you know, we kind of fit in there somewhere.
Get it, go.
But I really don't think it's an accurate description to, like, you know, like what would really describe Typo Negative is, like, you know, a goth band. I don't think we're a goth band, you know. If you ask goths, you know, do you think that Typo Negative is a goth band? I think they would disagree.
That it's more metal.
Right.
Well, goth is technically architecture, but it's been put to, like, you know, like stuff in clubs and drum machines.
It's kind of like a subculture, you know. It's not just like, you know, wearing a black outfit and, you know, dyeing your hair black. You know, it's all, you know. I think there's a little bit more depth to it than that, you know. But I mean,
I have a taste for blood.
You have to be very evil.
And be allergic to sunlight.
Exactly. And pale.
Real Abyss.
Steve Davey, what stage presence?
Of sorrow. Goth Talk. That was the greatest thing ever.
I used to frigging love Goth Talk with what's his name, Chris Kattan, when he's
So
a little
how are you
whiny.
feeling? How are you feeling as real? Forlorn.
When you guys write the new album, did you guys get together and write, or do you write separate parts, or is it mostly?
We basically got into a room and, you know, locked the door for like 6-7 months and just kept on working on ideas over and over and over again until
a horrible, long, torturous process.
Until you found something that, like, you know, worked, and you just took it from there. That's like, yeah, that's the one way to describe it. Long.
So that
torturous.
long and torturous. So that
The songs were like 35, 40 minutes long when we were developing. We'd jam out endings that would go on forever, right? Forever.
that's freaking awesome.
We would always be like, all right, you know, we'll just play this and it'll just fade out. You know,
Turn it down.
That's it.
On and on and
Yeah,
on.
but it really was. That was like the intention, like, you know, as we were rehearsing it, you know, and then it'd be like, all right, well, is it going to fade out for an hour? Because, like, you know, there would be like certain parts of the song where we would literally, you know, work on the same part over and just keep on playing it continuously for like an hour.
That kind of reminds me of another question. So you guys have pretty much had the same lineup for, what, like 12 years, right? How do you not kill each other? Because so many bands have so many member changes, you know what I mean? Like every week they have a new guitar player, and how does that work for you?
I don't know. I really, you know, I really can't put my finger on it. I mean, you know, we all come from the same place. You know, a lot of our experiences have been similar. You know, yeah, I mean, you know, there are definitely things that we don't like about each other.
We
like,
definitely tried to kill each other many times.
So they have.
Interesting stories I can hear.
Yeah, but you know what? It's gotten to the point where it sounds like 4 old ladies fighting with each other.
I totally know what you mean.
That's what it's become, you know?
It's like this broken down car you got. You know, you keep throwing parts in it because you can't afford to buy a new one. That's Typo Negative.
But it's comfortable. You like that car. New cars suck anyway, so. Yeah, the cover art. What's the Rasputin thing?
Really, that's like, you know, Josh's like 3rd grade, like, you know, class photo.
Oh, yeah, right. No, with the beard. I don't know about that.
No, that's like a whole concept thing that Peter came up with, you know, and you know, comparing the two, they are like, you know, there are some parallels.
Yeah.
Yeah, both nuts.
Okay.
Which segues to another question. So there was some personal stuff going on with him right before Dead Again came out. There's some drama. I mean, you don't have to talk about it in detail, but
Well, yeah, it's to say drama, I guess, would be an accurate way of putting it, you know, because there's always something going on with that guy. Always, you know. And you know, every time you pick up the phone, you just never know what to expect.
that goes into the lyrics, obviously, and kind of.
Really,
I
you know
don't
what?
think
You know what?
inspiration, but
With his
something, right?
lyrics, his life is much more insane than his lyrics are. He really should draw more inspiration from his personal experiences.
Really? I would. Wow.
That would make for
That
some
sounds kind of
great
intense.
lyrics. You know, he really should write a book. He really should, because I mean, like, the stories that he tells me of just like, you know, just like a simple thing, just going up the block to the store. Something happens to this guy.
Oh, I'm back on the tour, which was like way a long time ago. You guys end in New York, right? So are you guys getting a break after this one? Or?
No, we're not ending in New York. We're ending in Virginia now.
Oh, they changed it. Okay.
Yeah, well, there was the first week of shows that we had. They weren't with Hatebreed. We had scheduled like 4 or 5 shows, and so then we took those shows and then put them on the tail end of the tour. So now instead of the tour ending in New York, it's now going to run another week.
Yeah, after that, we're gonna go make a new album, and we're not gonna be out here again
Yeah, you finally get a break.
for like 8 years.
Oh, no, not 8 years.
Well, if that's the track record, you know, like the track record is like each album takes longer and longer to come out.
Is that just because of stuff going on, or?
It's a complete inner dysfunction within the band. That's why.
What does it take to get you guys sitting down and writing? Is that like...
I'm still trying to put my finger on the pulse of that one.
They're like, we don't know either. When you figure it out, let us fucking know. So...
No, it's just like the whole thing's like just like a big like a what's the word? Tidal wave. Like a cyclone. Like you just get caught in the.
You getting metal, man?
Anyway, it's like, you know, you just feel like you're like, you know, you're part of the collateral damage.
That's a good feeling.
Can be good.
It's not a good feeling.
He's like, no.
I'm fucking 40.
You guys kind of are your own, like, genre, essentially. Like, I was kind of going back to something I said earlier. How have you managed that with all the, like, record company? Oh, that's right, you guys got a new record company. And they made you an offer you couldn't refuse, is what I read.
Pretty much.
And is that because they finally got that you guys just do what you do and no one should fuck with that, or?
I don't know. I guess, like, you know, they saw the potential to, you know, for the band. They, you know, they figured they, you know, would know how to make money for it, you know.
We are what we are. You know, we've been doing this for whatever 19 years now. We have our set cult following, you know, and we do what we do. So nobody's expecting some, you know, huge hit, MTV hit from us or anything. But it is what it is. You know, it's like Motorhead. You know.
But you had problems with that before, right?
It's like, you know, we're in a Renaissance period.
Well, we got the hair.
The Renaissance hair.
I got my Louis XIV's hair.
Nice. We are good.
Arise! Cirrhosis of the liver.
But you have had problems with that in the past, though, right? Record companies kind of...
Problems all the time. We had problems at soundcheck.
Dude, like I said, it's like an old car.
He's like, it just
We did
keeps
a photo
happening.
shoot before this, and there was problems.
It's like an old car, man. It's like, what's going to break down next? And we just keep putting the parts in, replacing them.
So, well...
When the drivetrain goes, that's it. It's over.
Or the head gasket. That's not good either. Then you need a new engine.
In spite of all that, though, it still is the greatest job in the world.
You get paid to do what you love to do, right?
Yes.
That's actually, like, fucking amazing.
Yes.
He's like, I can't argue with that. That's fucking cool. And a lot of people like it, so that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks for doing this interview with me. It was very nice meeting you
Cheers.
and hanging out.